Welcome to Big Blend Radio, where we celebrate variety and how it adds spice to quality of life.
So welcome, everyone. Last month, and just over the 4th of July weekend, we launched our Big Blend Radio Jukebox and decided to really focus on American music, the American songs that represent American, songs that are performed by Americans. We're just going for it all the way till next 4th of July, every month that Johnny Schaefer is here on the show. He co-hosts every first Sunday here on Big Blend Radio on our Big Daily Blend show. And we're going to add to our jukebox. For those of you listening on Mixcloud, you get to hear the 6 songs we're talking about today within this episode. But if you're listening on all of our other platforms like Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Podbean, you name it, Mixcloud, iHeartRadio, there is a link in the episode notes, also for those on Mixcloud, to the playlist that we put up on Spotify. In fact, we have 2 of them we're going to link from there. But first, I want to welcome back award-winning singer-songwriter Johnny Schaefer. How are you?
I'm doing really well and very excited about the opportunity to continue talking about musicians that I love and music that I love, because I think each of our experience of music is cumulative and it builds on everything we've heard before, on our personal life experiences, our experience of art in general. And so to be able to share our loves and our feelings about music, it gives other people ideas about things they can check out. And you and you've turned me on to so many artists already. And so I think it's just very exciting to be able to take this time and talk about music we love.
Yeah, and today's theme, all within the America 250 and thinking about artists of America, it is American Artists Appreciation Month. That is celebrating every August. So we thought, okay, we're going to do that. And Johnny's picked 3 songs. I've picked 3 songs. The Spotify playlist has way more because we can never just stop. And that's the other thing, when you start creating these playlists, Spotify suggests other people to you, and that's cool. Except for when you're trying to play a whole album that's where a playlist is good as well with that kind of thing. But Johnny, I know I chose 3 songs by musicians that have been on Big Blend Radio every year or 2, 3 years, and you also kind of had a theme for the 3 songs or the 3 artists you picked today.
I did. 2 of them are no longer with us, and then the third is still going strong. And I kind of, wanted to go along with themes that I often talk about on the show, where I'm very eclectic. And so I really admire musicians who do genre hopping, who kind of blend, where this is the big blend. And I love artists that blend different styles and different, even vocal approaches. And also that kind of bridge, classical training with, or a gospel background. The 3 artists I chose today all have strong gospel roots, and then they moved through that into popular music and meld them together. And I think it's really beautiful to listen to what people do and how they've influenced other people. The 3 musicians that I chose, I think, have had a profound influence on other musicians, both in their own time and then moving forward.
I love that. And I think the other thing between all the songs that we've chosen for today, these 6 songs in particular, we've also covered the map. We go from Hawaii and Los Angeles all the way across. We go to Detroit, we go southeast, we go to Texas, so I think we're pretty good. We went all over the map, and that's something important too, because that is part of the sound. And so that's a cool thing too. And I think what's interesting is you went and picked yours, I went and picked mine. And when we put them together, I was like, wow, we kind of went for the same kind of feel over the 3. We have both had kind of a protest song, if you will. We both had a little bit of blues. Then we also went for the vocals. And I know on my side, a lot when you were talking about musical collaborations, definitely the artists that I chose have done that in incredible ways. So I love this. We're definitely different though, because this list is, I would say, a very good eclectic list. Wouldn't you say, out of the 6?
Absolutely. Yeah. Fun.
It is. It is fun. So, and then of course there's all the others we added. because we couldn't stop. And we're probably not going to stop by the time this airs and while it's airing. So if you want a song added, let us know. Okay. So, Johnny, let's start with your first pick.
Yeah, I thought it would be really fun to start with Laura Nyro because she's an interesting artist in that she didn't have a lot of fame, like many of the other artists that we play in her own right, but she so profoundly influenced many different artists. I mean, I have a list here: Suzanne Vega, Bette Midler, Ricky Lee Jones, Elton John, Joni Mitchell, Carole King, Tori Amos, Jackson Brown, Alice Cooper, Elvis Costello, Cyndi Lauper, Todd Rundgren, Steely Dan, Melissa Manchester. They have all specifically talked about how she profoundly influenced them, not only her vocal style, her compositional style, her arrangements, the instrumentation she chose, the themes that she chose, just the way she put the songs together. And she has a song called Stone Soul Picnic, that is kind of an invitation to, come on down to the park and let's have a big musical festival and a musical picnic. And I think it's a great invitation to the conversation that we're having today.
All right. I love it. And you certainly introduced me to her music, and I really appreciate that. Johnny, I think that she really, really has an incredible voice. Laura Nyro, everyone. She's able to really change her register. And take you there with a few surprises, but not surprises that don't flow well. You know what I mean? And I think that's a talent with your voice and with writing a song. But she does kind of remind me of those, like in the 70s vibe of like Carole King and maybe even a Karen Carpenter in a way.
Yeah, and when I read that list of artists that she influenced, I can hear Laura Nyro in those artists, especially maybe in the early parts of their careers, but in different ways. Like I hear with Ricky Lee Jones, I hear a lot of compositional and song structure elements. Like Laura has this beautiful way of switching gears with tempo and feel in the middle of a song, very dramatically sometimes. She did it a little bit on the song we just heard, where she talks about sassafras and moonshine, and she kind of slows down right there. Some songs she'll completely change the whole feel, and Ricky Lee Jones really picked up on that. I think vocally, she really influenced people like Melissa Manchester. And so people pick up different things and incorporate it into their sound. And that's one of the things I love about Laura Nyro.
Oh, that's awesome. And speaking of another woman, my first pick is Zakiya Hooker. And she is the daughter of the late, great, the amazing John Lee Hooker. And she also is all into music. She has done many albums, especially with her producer husband, Olin Christopher Bell. Many people know him as Chris James, as he was also had his time of fame in the amazing soul group, a really soul group from the 70s called The Natural Four. I've got to put that on the playlist. See, I knew there was something else, Johnny, because I love his voice as well. And so I wanted to, and I did put Zakiya and John Lee Hooker have a song together, and that is also on the playlist, but not what we're going to play on today's show, but the one I put on the playlist, Rock These Blues Away, which her dad did write. But this is the two of them, which I think is really cool. And that is also produced by Olin Christopher Bell again. But this song is such a beautiful one. It's called One More Dance. It's from her album back in 2020, I think it was. Because I remember her and I talking, and it was during COVID. And she came on the show, and I think she's been on, 4 times. I don't know. And this song, it's on her album Legacy. And the two of them singing, and not only is it blues, and she's very, she does a lot of jazz kind of style as well, jazz and blues. But this went more Americana, which was surprising to her, to everyone. And she was also playing the guitar on this album, which was, that's something she picked up and just kind of naturally flowed with her talents. It's obviously in her blood, right? But this song in itself, I just think is really beautiful, and it was surprising for everyone. And it's beautiful. So what did you think of this song?
It's great. It's marvelous to hear, the two of them come together in that way, and the way that they each adapt to each other, I think. And then that whole theme, I think a lot of us have been there, where you're at the end of a relationship and you want to just have something to hold on to. the way she captured that in the lyrics is fantastic. And then I think the music adds to that communication of those specific feelings in a really beautiful way, and they're just wonderful together.
They are, and they do a lot of recording down in Argentina too, in Buenos Aires, and then up in Georgia where they live. And they're just a wonderful talent. I hope they do more together. That's what I really hope. Yeah. So your next one is a classic, man. This is it. It has done so much for. It's timeless. It is a timeless song. Like if we talk about an American songbook, I think this song should be at the front of the book.
Yeah, I mean, A Change is going to Come by Sam Cooke is iconic. And Sam Cooke has been credited with pretty much forging soul music. And, he had gospel roots, as we talked about, and Aretha Franklin toured with him early in her career, and she credits him with giving her the blueprint for moving from from gospel into popular music and the soul movement. And A Change Is Gonna Come came from an experience he had where he was turned away from a hotel when he was on tour. And, the music was playing in the hotel and they wouldn't let him stay there. And so, he just talks about how we've got to keep moving forward. And that's this constant struggle of racial tension in America and all different kinds of tension. And he vocally, he's unmatched. So many singers, from Rod Stewart, you can really hear him and Steve Perry. Rod Stewart studied Sam Cooke for 2 years in order to get his signature sound, and he recorded some of Sam's songs himself. And I just thought this was such an important song in that it's still as timely today as it was when it was first written.
No, I love that song, and I got so into Sam Cooke who hasn't, as you were saying, but his daughter came on the show.
That's awesome.
Carla Cooke, and that was back in 2018. And just what a wonderful, just the voice. She gives you goosebumps. So I'm going to have to add her to the playlist now too. Yeah. I know we're getting good at adding to the playlist. I'm excited because you brought that song, and I couldn't believe that We Are the Many chosen for Makana. Makana is one of the top slack key guitarists out of the top 10. Also one of the top guitarists because of what he does. He also teaches and performs around the world. He has performed at the White House many times, but one of the top guitarists in the world and just incredible. But he's also really good as he tours the country about explaining slack key, explaining Hawaiian music. And he's been on the show multiple times over the years, not just for music, but on an educational of things ranging from Monsanto all the way to politics. And this song, We Are the Many, he wrote way back when, but I remember playing it. It became a anthem of the Occupy movement. And it's just really interesting. He played it at the APEC World Leaders Dinner in Honolulu, where President Obama was present. And I remember him coming on the show and talking about it. He goes, well, they just kept eating. So I just kept playing the same song over and over and over again. And it really is, we are the many, they are the few. And when you think about the amount of oligarchs we have in the world and how that happened. Yeah. And it's kind of the protest thing is that we are a community of people. And it's such a fantastic, fantastic song because you can think about it, even though it was talking about the banking, you can think about this song just like A Change Is Gonna Come from Sam Cooke, that it applies to so many different issues, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what did you think of Makana? Have you heard of him before, Johnny?
I don't know why I had not, but thank you so much for introducing me to him because he's right up my alley in so many ways. And, again, we talk about the big blend, and Hawaii, even though they're separated, by a lot of ocean from, the 48 states, there's a huge part of America. And the theme of this song is as timely today as when it was written, if not even more so. It's the whole idea of addressing the needs of the many over the elite few has never been more timely than right now. And with the oligarchy and everything that's going on, and he nails it. It's just such a really well constructed song, and the way that he words everything, and musically it's fantastic too. So thank you so much for
Yeah, when you
that.
get into all his albums, it's just fantastic. It's, and he does a lot. He also goes to Mexico a lot, to Mexico City, like you do.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, he goes there all the time, and he does like artist residencies, and so I encourage people to go to Makana.com and check out his music. And he's on Spotify, he's everywhere. But and I've got more of his songs on the playlist. I know you added some more of Laura onto the playlist too, Laura Nyro, because now I'm into her. Like you've got me buzzed in on her big time.
oh yeah, yeah. She, you know, you'll recognize a lot of her songs because other people have covered them. The Fifth Dimension covered her a lot, and I have a Barbra Streisand cover that helped launch Barbra Streisand's career early on. Stony End, and so these artists are a huge influence on music in general.
I agree. I agree. Now, your next artist, I didn't think you would put on there. I had no clue you were into his music like I am. And he is just such a cool guy. Like he's just, when you see him, you just want to smile. When you see pictures of him performing, doesn't he? And he's born in Los Angeles. Go figure.
Yeah.
But he's lived in the Delta. He's lived in Nashville, but born in where you are in LA.
Yeah, Keb Mo is just a terrific guy. I mean, and exactly what you said. You see him and he exudes. He looks like his music, if that makes sense to me. Like he's got the big old smile on his face, and just the love and the heart that he puts into the music, which is matched by his incredible playing. I mean, just the way different iterations of the guitar and related instruments, the way he masters them and the way he's able to just fuse blues and soul and jazz. And he also had a gospel background early in his life, and the way that he adapts to different players. He's worked with so many musicians of different genres, and you can hear it in his music. I was tempted to put his song "Am I Wrong" because of the incredible playing on it, but I went with a more recent song just partly because the other two artists I played were are no longer with us. So I wanted something more contemporary. So his song, Let Your Light Shine, has a real contemporary feel and just a beautiful message, but it still has his signature sound vocally, and his great guitar playing, the wonderful guitar solo in there, and the message of, of letting your individual light shine in the world. I just thought was beautiful.
I love it. I love it, Johnny. I mean, and he's got such the rhythm is just makes you feel easygoing, And it's one of the things I loved about I love about Taj Mahal. And he plays a lot with Taj Mahal. And how I got to know Taj Mahal was because of his work with Ry Cooder. And they recently got back together. I don't know. It's kind of like Simon and Garfunkel having their little thing and then get back together. And, that happens in music a lot, everybody. Sometimes it's a contract that they had to fulfill from years ago. But Ry Cooder and Taj Mahal, to me, like I really battled not putting them on the list because to me, when we talk about Americana, and Ry Cooder has done, he's gone with every ethnicity, I think, that makes up this country, which is a lot in some way, and I think that's cool. And Taj Mahal has too, and so him and Keb Mo together are amazing. So I saw that you put some of their music up on the playlist, and I added some Ry Cooder. I put Mississippi in there from Ry Cooder, and that was from the movie Crossroads, which tells the story of Robert Johnson and all that wonderful history.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, the EP that Taj Mahal and Keb Mo did together. If you listen to those songs, they're so different from each other too. That's another thing that's just really cool. They draw on this whole range of styles and ideas and instrumentation. And I always say that, you let each song tell you what it wants in terms of the musical landscape that it's in. And you can hear that in the way they constructed those arrangements on those songs. It's really exciting for me to hear that kind of thing.
Man, I just want to listen to music all day now. I love it. Well, I wanted to bring Shelley King back on the show, and Shelley comes on our show. If somehow it's usually at Christmas time. We're always talking about cooking and music, but she tours the world. She plays a lot with Cindy Cash Dollar and Amy Helm, and most specifically Carolyn Wonderland and Marsha Ball too, who's recently retired, sadly. But her and Carolyn Wonderland have been doing a lot over the last couple years and touring. And Carolyn Wonderland, for those, she's also an incredible woman to look up in regards to guitar playing and songwriting. She's been getting some great accolades from her latest albums, and she was a guitarist. Recently, was a guitarist for John Mayall, and he's also recently retired. But that's amazing, to see an old blues guy out there and a woman guitarist. I think that's fantastic. So Shelley's in good company. She also has her own gigs. Her husband plays drums. Her son's in a rock band, a heavy metal band, but she's more on the Americana side. And what is amazing about her is she is actually the first woman to be state appointed as a Texas state musician. This was in 2008. So she was the first woman ever appointed. And she's really more Americana. She does blues, soul, folk, Texas Americana. And she also goes up to Woodstock area to record all the time with Amy. Well, that's a whole other story that's happening now, but I don't want to get into it. The studio there, the barn, which was Levon Helms, she goes to record there all the time with Amy's studio, and has written a wonderful song. Everyone, Kick Up Your Heels is an album to check out for that. All just in dedication to Levon Helm. And when we talk about American music, Joey, the band has to be in there. It does.
Oh yeah. Yes.
And just seeing that Amy Helm, Levon's daughter's out there touring and doing good stuff. But the song I wanted to play is Texas Blue Moon, because it's really a beautiful song. And, Texas has some beautiful landscapes, and it's got a lot of character. It really does. And it's huge. And we travel through Texas all the time. And that's when you really need a really long playlist, like pages long, y'all, seriously. But it's also, just going back to sense of place. She was born in Arkansas, but, there is Texarkana, but it's really cool. So I hope you all enjoyed that song. And we've got more of hers in the playlist as well. So, Johnny, what did you think of Shelley?
Oh, she's wonderful. And you can really hear why the Texas state legislature designated her as an official state musician, because it's such a Texas sound, and it's she's singing about Texas, and it's like a love song to Texas, and it captures what I think of musically when I think of Texas, and great playing, beautiful guitar work, and really well constructed song, and it was lovely.
I just love it when you can just embrace a song at the beginning, even if it's got all these other things that you're going to have to go back and listen to, which is really cool too. But when she's got a way that just draws you in immediately, like you're right there, so, and she's fun. And she's naughty. We like that. Yeah, Johnny, any more shout outs you want to give for what's on the playlist for everyone? That's linked in the episodes, no matter episode notes, wherever you are. But also just go to bigblendmediahouse.com, and there you'll see the episode page right on the home page, especially if you're listening today when it airs, right on the home page, and you'll be able to see it there, and we'll list all the songs and everything too. But yeah, we'll have that playlist. Anything else you want to do? Tell everybody about?
I think just, if you like what you hear, really explore these artists, because it's impossible to pick one song and have that represent each of these artists. They do so many different things that are amazing. I think the more you listen to them, you'll hear how they've influenced other people, and you'll hear the broad range of what they're capable of. And I think you'll really become fans of every single one of these artists.
Now, Johnny, I do have to, before we go, ask you, you put Cupid by Rod Stewart on there, on the playlist.
Yeah. Yes.
He's not American.
Well, but I did it because he listened to, I mentioned how he listened to Sam Cooke for 2 years to develop his style. And he covered, that Cupid is a Sam Cooke song. So I tried to put some covers of some of these artists so that people could hear another way of hearing how they've influenced other people.
Love it. I love it. Well, thank you all for joining us here on the Big Daily Blend and for our Big Blend Radio Jukebox series. And we are going to be back next month, September. Johnny, what are we going to talk about?
Classical music and in all of its iterations, both the specific classical period of music, and then the way that that term has been used to cover classical music throughout history.
Yeah, we'll do that. And this is also going to be part of our ongoing series where we're celebrating American music through the America 250 through till July 4th next year. So enjoy and thank you all. Behave, and don't forget, go to Johnny's website, hearjohnny.com. He's also on Facebook. He's on Instagram. He's on YouTube. Go listen to his music there. And it's also under Hear Johnny. And he'll be back with us the very first Sunday of September.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to Big Blend Radio. Keep up with our shows at bigblendradio.com.